16 singer-songwriters remain to compete in Canada's most prestigious talent showdown. Each week, they'll take part in tasks that will hone their songwriting skills and showcase their own original music. At stake for our artists, a label contract with Omen Music, a publishing deal with social platform Vamper, the chance to tour the world with Degi Entertainment, a premiere performance spot at Canadian Music Week, and the title of winner of the Shot Canada. Good morning, artists.
Morning.
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 Hey, I hope you guys are well rested. Are you?
No.
Sure.
Fine, well rested.
A little well rested at least?
No.
No. Well, you know what? There was a whirlwind group switch and a double elimination yesterday that saw Sandeep and Sieski leave the competition. Now there is just 16 of you left, and we're going to dive straight into today. Please welcome back our head judge, CJ Allen.
Good morning, guys.
Woo-hoo!
Thank you. I appreciate that. That felt very warm. One of the great things about this show is that it is exclusively for Canadian singer-songwriters like yourself. And I think we can all agree that Canada is one of, if not the best, places to live in the world. Our landscapes, social programs, diversity, and culture are admired internationally. And for me, having lived and worked abroad, I can tell you that there are few words that can be said anywhere in the world that instill more respect, and for me, pride, than I am Canadian. So for your session today, artists, you'll be writing a song that speaks to that pride. You'll write a song that is quintessentially Canadian and that is about being proud to be Canadian.
Your guest judge, who will be joining CJ and resident judges Eric Johnston and Kate Davies, is Alicia Brown, the official Miss Tourism Canada 2021.
This is also a reward session, artist, and it's a doozy. Alicia herself is a vocalist and recording artist. She will be competing internationally in the competition in Turkey later this year. The group that wins today's session will have their song sang by Alicia at the internationally televised competition.
Hey.
Wow.
As usual, Alicia will pick her favorite song of the day, and that group will receive immunity. And you know what comes after that. Alicia will also pick her least favorite song, and at least one of you will be leaving the competition. I think this is worth writing for. It's a great reward. Are you ready to get started?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do it.
Yes.
All right, guys, make Canada proud, artists. We have 6 hours on the clock, and your time starts now.
So we got to choose a leader, guys.
Oh, true.
Oh, yeah.
So we know Mandy has already been the leader last time.
Yes,
she can't be
that's
the
right.
leader. I've already been the leader in a previous session. So I'm
Once before as well.
Have you been a leader, Sam?
I haven't, no.
Okay.
okay. Do you guys want to do rock, paper, scissors?
No, I was just gonna let him. I really prefer not to, as much as I don't have to, because there's nobody's really leading. It's just a title for us, to be honest. We're all doing our own kind of work. But
Totally.
if you want me to do it, I'll do it, because we need. But it depends on if Sam is doing other work and he's cutting pasting, then I don't want him to have to do it. But Justin, if you're doing that part this time, then I don't
I
mind.
will say that's helpful, like if someone's the leader, because it does take like about an hour. It took me an hour to write.
Really?
About it.
Took you
Just
an
to
hour.
took me an hour. I just got to process everything and what happened, right? But
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to do it. But Justin, if you wanna just like put it together in Logic this time, maybe that would just be better to split up the work.
Yeah. No, I'm happy to do that.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So I guess like let's see how the session goes over,
Mm-hmm.
and like who ends up taking on what roles,
Yeah.
what we contribute. But I'm happy to kind of like piece together at the end.
For sure. Yep. Sounds good. Yeah, I'm happy to lay down guitar tracks and things too this time. Since you did last time. So yeah.
Cool.
Whatever works.
All right, Pat. You're
Anyone not gone? I don't know.
I haven't been a leader yet.
Neither have I.
Why don't
I'm
you
happy
and
either if
Maddie
you
and
want
Lauren
to.
rock paper scissors?
I'm like I don't mind deferring to you, Lauren, because you might have a little bit more connection to what we're talking about today. If that's cool.
Yeah, as long as you're like okay with that, I'm happy to do rock paper scissors as well. But
I'm yeah. Oh, we can do rock paper scissors too with a delay. I don't know.
You're so funny.
Here, Lauren, why don't we take it, Lauren? It's honestly, it's like the form is a bit of a nuisance, but
yeah, that's okay. Yeah, no, I'm happy.
other than that, it's not a big deal. It's a pretty good gig.
Nice. Okay, so are we settling on Lauren? What's happening?
I'm for it. Lauren, give her.
Done. Great.
Sounds good.
Maddie, you're up next.
Okay.
Has anyone not been team leader?
I haven't been team leader.
I don't mind doing it if someone doesn't want to do it. Totally up to you, Shelby.
Trying to think.
It's not super scary. I promise.
Okay. Sure, I'll be team leader.
Plus, if we win, you deserve it.
I'm on her Instagram right now. It's pretty. Vocal covers. Here we go. What do you got? Alicia Keys, nice.
Alicia Keys.
So
Alicia Keys.
pop R&B.
I like that.
Well, that's so far.
This might be Natasha. She can basically sing anything, so. She's got a power voice.
So pop R&B, it sounds like.
Yeah, it sounds like that to me.
Well, that's.
Does that already
is
answer your
rad.
questions?
Yep.
Okay.
She's a
Well,
powerhouse. Woo!
We can figure it out, Justin.
okay, cool. Cool. So,
Get your
I mean,
guitar, Natasha.
I think yesterday's like process worked out really well. But like, yeah, I don't know. Pop R&B, like soul funk, is kind of like my area. I don't know what you guys specialize in.
Natasha's also that as well.
Beautiful.
Check out her Instagram.
No, no, you
Yes.
yeah, I'm versatile. Like I can go that direction.
Sweet.
I like pop and R&B as well. Fun as well.
Let's both come up with like a sick guitar line, I guess.
I know. I'm trying to think like cool, funky, like poppy. Yeah.
I've started writing down just some like ideas and everything. About the whole
Good.
Canadian. I got a huge list of just things that came on top of my head.
Yeah.
Throw 'em out. What you got?
I got just I guess freedom, diversity, helping others, beauty of the land, like anywhere in between the East Coast to the West Coast, ocean, mountains,
I like East Coast to the West Coast.
cities, small towns, basketball, hockey.
Hockey, yeah.
I think the diversity would be a big thing, and just talking about how big-hearted we are as Canadians, and to be proud of what we have, freedoms, and the ability to sit on Zoom for 6 hours and write a song.
Like we're trying to write a friggin' anthem here, the Canadian anthem all over again.
Guys, I just have like a thing to say before that we start this. Is like, to me, this is like, with what's going on right now, this is like a little bit almost problematic, like in terms of like BIPOC issues going on right now. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but
Sorry, can you elaborate just a little bit?
All right. Yeah, Maddie, I can't hear over the guitar.
Oh, I'm sorry, friends. Sorry, I thought I was on mute. Sorry.
no, it's all good. It's totally all good. I mean, I love guitar, but yeah, I'm just thinking like I'm surprised that like it's so blatantly sort of ignoring like what is happening in the world in terms of Indigenous issues, especially here in Canada, which is like pretty intense. There's like a lot of people who don't have access to water. There's like fish communities in Nova Scotia, New Brunswick that are like being burnt by the cops, like Indigenous fishing communities and Mi'kmaq communities. Like there's like a lot of shit going on. There's like pipelines going through Indigenous land. They don't want it, and Trudeau doesn't care. You know what I mean? Like there's like a lot of stuff going on. So to just like kind of ignore that in this competition.
I don't think that we
Troublesome.
were ignoring that. I definitely
Not you guys,
No,
but
no.
in general.
Yeah, I think that you're right. There are definitely there's issues for sure, but I think that for this, without wanting to brush over that, I just think that we should focus on the positive for this, because there are so many amazing reasons that I love living in Canada. You know what I mean? Like, so I completely agree with you that there are definitely things that make it a tough subject, but
I think it's worth mentioning. Tamara, you said you had a parent who was Indigenous.
Yeah, my dad from Saskatchewan, from the prairies. He's only half, so I'm a quarter, but his dad grew up on a reserve out there, and his grandparents went through the residential school system. I'm sure you guys all know what that is by now.
Yeah, my grandparents did as well.
Yeah. And I still have family out there on the reserve, and they're fine now, but it's caused like a lot of problems, alcoholism. There's like so much shit. So like in order for us, and I'm torn because also like my mom's family's like immigrants from Northern Europe and Jewish. They were leaving when Nazis were arriving. So like in order for us to live here in the way that we do, which is obviously incredibly amazing, and I live in the downtown core of Toronto, which is like super multicultural. I sing in multiple languages. I work with people from all over the world, and like I love that. And I write a lot of grants about it, about how like we're multicultural and all this stuff. But like in order for us to even be able to do that, to live on this land, it's like a lot of genocide and slaughter happened before, right? And like I find I'm starting to it's like getting harder and harder for me to just like say like, to just be like, yay, Canada, this is such a wonderful place. Everybody lives so well, and like everybody's so happy and good. Yay, ha ha ha. When like if you just rip that layer away a little bit, it's like pretty up. So anyway, just had to say that before like delving in, because it's pretty intense.
Yeah, I had this hook idea last couple days like called Made for This. And I was thinking about this song, like what if it was less about, because like I don't know, like an anthem is sort of like a national anthem, right? It's a little bit different than like writing a pop song. But there's something kind of interesting about the idea of like, yeah, none of us are perfect like individually, right? And then like societally, but as Canadians, like we're made to overcome. It's like we're a group of people made to rise above it. That's sort of like the principles that we're founded on. So it's less about like, man, isn't it great to be Canadian? It's more about it's great being Canadian because we can do better. That's what we're made to do.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, looking towards an ideal, like working towards that ideal place that we're not there yet, but we know,
And as Canadians, we are made for that. Like there might be countries that like we're gonna be like this forever, but we aren't. And that's what's great about being here, because we know we can do better and we're gonna try. So it's less about
that's a beautiful way of looking at it.
But I think probably what I've learned from the past 3 days is even if there's like more than one person singing, we probably don't want to sing at the same time. I think that's what I've learned, because that's when it starts to sound messy, right? So like,
I still think we should be one voice on it. I think it's just be one voice, one guitar, and then we can do a production over the weekend if we really want. But I really think just one voice.
That's
going.
With CJ saying, like one of the proudest things to say is I'm Canadian. I think that speaks to us as like kind, great people. I think that should be kind of a theme that we go off of, because I think, especially her like experience with like overcoming adversity. I think Canada is one of the best places in the world to do that.
For sure.
know she sings musical theater, and we want to do something like anthemic, but it doesn't have to be like she's full musical
Totally,
theater.
yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to go too far down that road.
I don't either. You know, I think we can make it powerful.
Totally, yeah. I
but
think as long as it has those dynamics.
Yeah, like I don't know if we have to do the full musical theater thing, you know?
Yeah, I think something like even like in like the Adele kind of range, like something with like a powerful female vocal.
Yeah, totally.
As long as it's kind of in that realm, because if she's competing, she's gonna want to show off what her vocals can do.
Yeah, exactly. So as long like we make it powerful in the chorus, that'll be good. But yeah, I just don't want to go too cheese-tastic and
Totally, yeah.
Do we have a concept idea in terms of like how we're going to structure the verses and the like? Is the main thing going to be "I'm proud to be Canadian" essentially?
Yeah, essentially.
I don't think that should be our hook, though. I think it should
No.
be-
No.
I like the
More
idea
unique
of it
than that.
being this whole like, it doesn't matter where you come from. Everybody's a little bit different walk of life, but I'm glad that I come from the red and the white. I'm proud to be Canadian. Love the mountain air from BC to Newfoundland. Bitch, you
Yeah.
ain't got shit on us there.
Hey, so can we just record that and
There was like there were some ideas in there that might be able to.
No, I know. I'm just teasing because you said bitch.
No, I know.
Bitch. I'm Canadian, bitch.
Let's just
James,
make a
are you
bitch
playing around
track.
with anything on guitar?
That's what I'm trying to think. Like, there's so many directions. So, like, if we want to do it, like, when you said Adele, I kind of heard some like we can use some jazz chords, right?
Yeah, you come from the jazz back.
But the thing is too, we could also like I was thinking back at like I have some friends that they've actually from my reserve that actually played at the Canadian Olympics when it was in Vancouver, and he had to do a song that was for the Olympics that was like basically something, but like it was very simple chords, right? It was just like it's just like a lot of those songs are just simple, right? Like it's like
yeah.
But we could make it because we're songwriters. I think like it might be better for us to actually dive deep into like chord structures, try to do something interesting, right?
With time running out before the submission deadline, Evolve heads in to meet with guest judge, Miss Tourism Canada, Alicia Brown.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
How are you guys doing?
Great.
Good.
Exhausted or what?
No,
it's too early. It's
heard
too early to start this. Like 9 a.m. It's too much. Alicia's in BC. It's like 6 a.m.
Yeah, I heard that some of you guys are in BC. I'm in Calgary, so it's 10 o'clock my time. So
cool.
I kind of feel you, but definitely didn't have to wake up at 6 a.m. So tell me what your group name is, you guys.
Evolve.
Yeah, we've all been moved in groups, so I don't know if anyone remembers.
Yeah.
Evolve. Okay. Keeping my stuff in order. Okay, guys. So tell me about where you're at in songwriting process, how it's been going for you guys, what sort of things you've come into. Like, what can I help you guys with in this next 20 minutes here?
So I think we started off kind of all discussing what it means to be Canadian and the things that make us feel really at home here. And once we had like a full page of just like all of our ramblings, we kind of started piecing that into incorporating your situation where you're going to be singing this song and trying to mold it into something that you would relate to as well.
Yeah, we tried to really envision you like stepping out on stage and singing, and what would that be? You know?
Awesome. So what can you guys tell me about where I'm going and what I'm doing? What kind of background do you guys have on this scenario?
So we stalked you a little bit on social media.
Okay.
Like here.
Hey, you know what? That's smart. I'm not mad at it. You guys are
We
smart.
wanted to hear what you sang. What kind of
I
songs
wanted to hear
you
your
like.
voice. I want to hear your voice and how you sang and.
You found my brand new music account.
Yeah,
Like-
congratulations.
Yeah.
Followed it.
Amazing.
Thanks.
Yep. You gained some followers.
Congrats on this role you're taking on. It's pretty awesome.
Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, I've been in pageantry for a while, so representing Canada and being an ambassador of Canada is like the greatest honor that you can have. You know, we're so lucky to be Canadian. And I think an interesting thing when we were planning this week for you guys, I think something that's so interesting for a lot of Canadians is, you know, we know our national anthem, but how much more do we know about our country? We love living here, but you know, how much of our patriot love actually exists on a daily basis, right? So I think it's really interesting for you guys to make sure you're incorporating things, do your research, make sure there's parts in this song that actually do speak to Canada specifically, right? So we don't want this to just be like a pretty song. Like when I
what we were talking about.
Awesome. Well, that's great, because when I'm walking out on that stage representing Canada, I also want to represent all of you. I want to represent all the songwriters, all the artists, all the people of every kind of race, gender. You know, we're such a welcoming country. I want this to be something that's empowering and beautiful, right? So if you guys can do that, mic drop.
Right. And
Cool.
I guess our big question was like that we've been discussing since, you know, 9/9 or whatever, is like how much, like how, because a couple of us have like also Indigenous background and we're pretty aware of, you know, the state of things and how it's been and everything. So how much like to be really like pinpoint, like actually talking about things, or how much to kind of bring them in another way that's not like, you know, like, I don't know, hammering.
I think
you know, that's the big question.
Try and be more metaphorical, you guys, because when we walk out, if I was to walk out on stage, think of us as artists and songwriters, right? When we walk out on stage, if we're starting to sing like a literal, like word for word, what's going on in the world, people are going to think it's more so a political play.
Exactly.
Right?
That's
And
what we
so
landed on. Yeah.
I have to be careful as a representative of Canada to make sure I have a balanced political view per
Perspective.
se,
Yeah.
right?
Totally.
Because I have to represent all political views, all perspectives, which is actually quite difficult, because when I get asked questions on stage like that, I get 20 seconds to respond. So I have to make sure that I know exactly what's going on, how to verbalize what I feel in a way that doesn't offend anybody and also makes people feel empowered. So that's what I encourage you guys to do as songwriters, is try and hone that in.
Great.
What would you guys do if you had 30 seconds to come up with an answer of what does Canada mean to you? And really try and make sure that it's a clear, empowering, beautiful thing, because we are lucky as Canadians to be recognized as one of the best countries around the entire world. So when I walk out on that stage, there is 100% chance people are going to be cheering for me because Canadians are so well known. And that's the case for any Canadian representative. Even at Miss Universe, the biggest pageant of all time, right? We have representatives that go out there and people automatically are like, there's Canada. We want to know who Canada is. So if you guys win this, they're going to want to know who wrote that song. They're going to want to know who was involved. So I really encourage you guys to, you know, do everything you can to make sure it's something empowering that people are going to be like, whoa, what is that song? So I want to know, how have you guys been balancing the big group here and all the personalities, all the ideas? What kind of system have you guys been using to write this song?
You know, we really
We
just
gelled really well. Like we wrote really well yesterday and we had 6 people and it's going really well this time too. Like I would say this is probably the best co-written song I've been a part of. And like it's been very, very symbiotic. Like lines are kind of evolving all at once. I don't know. You guys feel the same way? Like I feel like this song more than any song is like, I can't really point to anyone who really drove it more than someone else. Like it feels very, very cohesively built this time.
We're really
we did
to each other.
We did a great thing. Yeah.
I think
Exactly.
we're all learning and getting a little bit more confident too in being able to say yes and no to certain ideas. Like nobody's going to be offended if it doesn't work for this song. And that's been a struggle up to this point. When somebody suggests something, you really want to incorporate people's ideas, but we're in a point now where you can't just say yes to every single idea. You have to know what to use and what not to use and where it might fit and where you might need to cut things. So
people are getting more comfortable with each other too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The goal is this.
And listen, you guys want to win, right? And what that takes is working together. And you know, think back to being Canadian, right? We are known for being good at working together and just loving everybody. So God forbid I walk out on this stage and they're like, oh, wait, where would the song come from? And I'm like, oh, it was a train wreck writing process, but here we are. You know what I mean? And I think it speaks to you guys as artists too. It takes a lot of courage to sit in a room and be like, you know what, my idea doesn't work. That's okay. Yeah. And that's important as songwriters and as artists, as we work together with all sorts of different people. Like I've had the honor of working together with like Broadway stars and, you know, big names in the industry. And when you sit there and your ego needs to be humbled in those moments, because yes, as knowledgeable and as incredible as, you know, we all are as artists, there's always somebody who knows a bit more. And so we have to make sure that we're really listening in those moments and taking on what each other says, because it makes us better as songwriters and artists.
Yeah.
So I really encourage you guys to listen through this process, because this is a once in a lifetime chance. I'm very jealous of all of you. So what would you guys say the theme of your song is? And then I can ask to that.
Yeah, the hook we had was sort of, oh, sorry, Alicia, go for it.
I was just gonna say, so far it's been what makes this the place that you want your roots. I feel like that's kind of where we've all come together for. But Patrick, go ahead too. Whatever you want to add.
Just saying, like, well, the hook we sort of had was like the "We Are Who We Are," and in the chorus we were sort of talking about the like unapologetically yourself, but as a group, right? Like sort of the things that make you a Canadian on sort of an ideal level, and then our verses were much more diving into sort of the specifics. So our hook is sort of like, you know, we are who we are, and this is like the big dreams and big hearts, like the risers and the believers, and that's sort of like us as a whole. That's sort of like the hook idea. So it's sort of like we were talking a lot about the unapologetically yourself, ourselves idea.
Okay. So sorry, repeat the question so I can answer it properly for you.
What do you want to portray as Canada? Like, what do you feel is the most important thing to get across?
So I think my answer would be the same as any of you guys. We live in the same amazing country. And a lot of people know our country as that. So I don't think it needs to be as literal. I think it can just be something more, you know, generically talking about loving home, feeling like home, right? It doesn't have to be like, we have nice trees and we have nice lakes and we have mountains.
We're like, let's not write, we have nice lakes and trees.
Like it doesn't need to be that literal, right? Like it can be, think about writing it as a feeling.
Right.
Like think
That's
for
what we
a
were
second.
saying also at one time.
Feel it.
Like there was something in the water. You could feel it in the air. Maybe that's better to go back to starting with that. I don't know. Like what would you want to
I want to be able to connect to the song that I'm choosing. So I don't want it to be me singing about a song where people are like, oh, well, that's a cute little melody. Like I want it to be people going, wow, that's a story. I want people to connect to it, because think about it. If I'm singing about my home as something I love to be a part of, other people are going to also connect to that and be like, oh, I love my country too. Right?
Yeah.
So don't make it so specific to Canada per se. Even though, yes, that's the challenge, right?
But also make it specific to Canada.
But also make it specific. But you know, it's more so about Canada being such an incredible place to live, and the feeling that comes behind that is what
The
I
Canadian
would say
experience.
to you guys. Right.
Yes. Cool.
Yeah.
Free to be me.
That is good to hear.
You know, free to be who we want.
Yeah, right. It's about being accepted. It's about the beauty of, you know, it's the beauty of loving people for who they are and being accepted for who we are. We don't have to, you know, to a certain degree, right? We don't have to worry about that stuff. And, you know, God forbid, you know, some people do, and hopefully we're getting better. But, you know, I think in general, Canada's way ahead of a lot of countries for that, right?
And in the bridge, we kind of went the way of like, you know, we're learning from lessons of the past. Like, we know we have stuff to do and stuff to learn, but like, I'm glad I'm here and not somewhere else. Just to like,
sort of we're doing our best working,
but then go back into the chorus. It's like proud. And
so if you're gonna go to and we have like 2-3 minutes left, but if you're, I encourage you guys, if you are gonna go to the side of we have work to do, make sure it's empowering, right? Because that can be something where people are like, oh, right? If they're listening and then I'm like, yay, home, feeling of wonder and amazing possibilities and acceptance and all these things that Canada is, and then going, well, but we have some work to do. People are going to be like, wait, she's representing Canada, right? I have to be a positive spokesperson for our country. So make sure you guys are careful with that. Yes, those are things that need to be talked about, but I think that's a different kind of song, right? Those are the kind of songs that are those impactful kind of songs. And if we're just talking about, you know, the feeling of loving your home, I maybe would leave that out.
Yeah.
Great. That's all great feedback. Thank you so much.
Really great.
Thank you.
With songs submitted, the groups meet with the judges to present their songs. First up is Evolve.
Team Evolve, how's it going, guys?
Hey.
Hey, good.
Good. How do we do with our time?
Good. Hit the deadline.
Yay. Good. I'm glad to hear that. You know, from when we met earlier today, we had such a short little clip of the song that you guys were in creation with. So I'm really curious to see what you guys have come up with. What can you tell us about the song that you guys have created?
Well, it's entirely different from whatever you heard at first. We've written 2 songs today.
Wow, that's impressive.
But I think we ended up in a better place than where we started for this particular task, based on
What was wrong with the place that you were in when you started, Lauren?
You don't want to know. No.
Oh, I do. That's why I asked.
The song was perfect, but getting the insight about what we were writing for, and we wrote for, you know, what we found about Alicia on like Instagram, but when we actually
You stalked her, and then
we just had a clear path and vision for what we wanted, and I think it turned out really nice.
Okay, let's hear it.
All my life I had a vision, looking out beyond the shore. I traveled far beyond the reaches, but it was right outside my door. There's just something in the water, I feel it in the air. I belong there like a daughter, following that northern star. Let me tell you about a place, a mosaic full of faces, with big dreams and big hearts, full of pride for who we are. All the different paths I've ever known, they take me home. I've seen wonders, sights that took my breath away. When I let my spirit wander, it brings me back. Let me take you back and tell you about a place, a mosaic full of faces, with big dreams, big hearts, full of pride for who we are. All the different paths I've ever known, they take me home. Fortunate to roam and lucky to come home. Let me tell you about a place, a mosaic full of faces, with big dreams and bigger hearts, full of pride for who we are. Let me tell you about a dream of golden towns and snowy peaks. It's people and passion, full of pride for who we are. All the different paths I've ever known, they take me
Okay. I'm looking at the recap here, Lauren. Alicia, tell me about the lyrics and the structure and the work you and Tamara did on finding the melody.
Ooh, yeah, a lot to get into there, but I think with the lyrics, we started off our day all kind of giving our ideas for what being Canadian and what calling Canada home means to us, and sort of just the things that we really felt. And then after talking to Alicia, we realized that it was kind of less about the details of like we had a lot in there about Canada and about different places in Canada, and then we kind of shifted our vision a little bit to being more sorry, let me pull up the lyrics here really quickly. Yeah, being more about the story that we wanted to tell, which was this is a place where there's all different kinds of people here, all different skin colors, all different dreams, and your dreams start really young. So big hearts, big ideas, and we're welcoming to everyone. So we really wanted to incorporate that in there without it being too specific that on Canada. Like, don't get me wrong, I feel like if you know you're talking about Canada, you really relate all of that to the country, but we didn't want it to be like, you know, red and white, like all these things that are very specific. And then when it came to writing, me and Tamar, honestly, I don't think it was just me and Tamar. Every single one of us inputted on the melody. Every single one of us inputted on the lyrics. I kind of went in a different direction with the chorus afterwards, and then everybody came together and as we were saying all day, kind of massaged the way it came out. So
Okay.
not a one-man job, definitely a team effort. But
Matthew, you agree with that?
I agree, yes.
Okay.
Man of very few words.
No, for a theater major, I was expecting a monologue.
I agree. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, with the sentiments and the discussions that we had and getting the wonderful feedback and implementing them, I completely agree. I was in charge of the accompaniment. We were originally going to do it on piano, then we decided for time's sake guitar.
I was going to ask you guys about that.
Yeah, so we were originally with the feedback that we got from you, we were going to put some piano in it or have the bass accompaniment as piano, but as time went on, as we were continuing to try to finish this new song, we ran out of time for that, so we put it down on guitar. But I would really love to hear the next iteration of this. I'd love to hear what it sounds like on piano, which was the original vision.
So would I.
Patrick, what was the original vision?
You're muted, pal.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. The original vision was a hook, "Sorry, not sorry," and we bagged that eventually. But that was our Canada hook.
Why did you bag it?
Well, it evolved and it became a. The consensus was a little bit too kitschy. It was a little too on the nose. But the original sort of idea was about sort of being unapologetically yourself, and we sort of had this hook of, you know, we are who we are. And the idea was a little bit broad scoped. It was more speaking about like kind of it could be a generational song. It could be sort of a, you know, a whole group of us, like as Canadians. And then we sort of refined that down to being a little bit more about the place as opposed to like all the people. And that's sort of where the, you know, the shift came in. But the original one was about sort of being unapologetically yourself. And that sort of is the brand about, you know, who we are as Canadians.
Okay. At the risk, the possibility that he might have forgotten the song already. Eric, general thoughts?
Where are we? Just kidding. Of course I remember the song. I think that mosaic line, place the mosaic to face, the rhyme scheme is very nice. I liked it. It made me go, ooh. Also the last line, I was like, please say home, please say home.
Yeah.
And then it was like boom, and then home, whatever it was. I don't know, I'm not a good singer, just a handsome, talented stand-up comedian. And I thought it was great. I thought you guys did a good job. I'd like to know, because listen, there's a lot of powerhouses in this group. Obviously, you know, some of my faves are in this group. I'm not going to tell you who. It's all of you. You know, and the people I already know, Patrick James Clark from last season and stuff. I know you guys gave a very Canadian response. Like, well, we just all came together and we massaged this thing out and we really figured it out. Who would you say kind of took the lead, and who would you say kind of took a back seat? This is a very could cause drama, and I don't mean it to. I just mean, who do you think was the really driving force in the song, and who do you think kind of stepped back and said, "Yeah, I'll let you guys kind of." They became very Canadian and let people go, "Hey, you guys figure it out." Who do you think that was? And whoever can answer. I'm not going to ask anyone specifically.
I can answer it. I don't mind.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Lauren. I didn't
Canadian
want to
dance off right here. Here we go. Perfect Canadian episode.
This was
Sorry.
a satisfying answer, but I was gonna say we all took turns almost, because right at the beginning of the day, Tamar kind of took the lead with the discussion. Like, we're talking about a song about Canada, but it's coming at a really odd time because there are lots of not so great things happening in Canada right now. So we had a lot of trouble right at the beginning coming up with a vision, being like, I don't want this to be like a propaganda song.
Yeah.
When the reality is, like, some of us have Indigenous roots, and like you know, there's a lot going on. So talking about like theme and lyric and conversation, me and Tamar talked a lot about, you know, what's underneath and the inspirations and things. And then Patrick took the lead because he had the "we are who we are" and "sorry not sorry" vibe for a while. And so it kind of like everyone took their turns, and then Alicia came up with the new chorus melody. And then so she took us through that whole part. And then Matthew led the whole, let's figure out exactly what chord progression we're coming in to. Like, we all took our turns.
Cool. I'm satisfied with that.
That was a very Canadian answer.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be. Who do you think should go home this week? And then you guys all cried. Can't get off the call. I get it.
I have a question for you guys.
Shoot.
Do you think that the fact that so many of you played a strong role, that you've lost cohesion in your song? Because there's so many ideas?
Yeah, you know, I've been thinking about this a lot, like this specific thing. Like, if the producers of The Shock gave me a call, and they talk to me all the time, and they said, Patrick, we need to write the best song ever about Canada. We think we're going to get 5 people to do it in a competition. I would be like, that's probably not the best way to get the best song, because 5 people is too big of a write. It's not impossible, but, you know, it's just not really the form that most writes go in. Like 4, you can, you know, swing 4 is a lot too, but like, it's a lot of voices, and we're all very polite, and we all want to work together, and we're in the guise of a competition. So we're trying to produce the best product in that. A lot of times you can write a song, and the worst thing about it is that you had a good hang and you wrote a bad song, but you can't really have that be the result this time. And that's cool because it's a competition, and we're playing a game that's different than a usual standard write, where there's not a lot of pressure because a bad song no one has to hear, but you got to hear this one. So everyone wants to win by virtue of how open they are about that or not. They're in a competition, and we're trying to produce a product, and there's too many people in the right. And that's going to result in what it's going to result in. So I don't know if it lost vision, but it isn't the most effective way to make the best song ever, is my opinion on that.
I do think you guys have like more of, like, compared to how you said you were thinking about the sorry not sorry idea. I love that concept. And I think I think you made the right call in doing more of the safe, sort of more broad approach for this, because sorry not sorry could be like a really funny tune, and I think that could come off like in a really cool way for a specific purpose. But yeah, so I think you made a good call in keeping it broad, like opening it up for further interpretation. So if someone wanted to make it more their own, they could add in a couple little things here and there. And I can picture it in a tourism ad for sure. And I think it was a good idea that you kept it acoustic for this presentation, because I think keeping it simple, especially for a working tape, is just the right call, because you can deal with production later. We just kind of want to hear the bare bones of the song, the concept, and what you've come up with. So I definitely think you made some good decisions on that one.
Yeah,
And
we
a
were really
smart
trying.
part of, sorry, Tamari, go ahead. Smart part
It's
of
the
this
dance.
presentation in particular, Matthew, was when you highlighted what the song could be and what could be added to it, rather than what we've heard before was if we had more time today to do this.
Right.
That gives a
We have
fuller
to
picture.
we have to
Very
work
much
with what
so.
we have. Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's the right approach in a presentation like this. When it really is a demo or a working tape, this is what what it could be,
Mhm.
and what we're seeing it become. It's a very
Mhm.
smart approach.
Cool. We
Uh,
really tried to like keep her in mind, like keep her in Turkey on a stage, like walking out. What would that look like? You know, not necessarily like a song to be good for the purposes of the song. I mean that as well, but like, you know, if it was a Canadian audience, like Kate was saying, you know, then sure, maybe we throw in Sorry Not Sorry. But if it's like an international audience, may or may not work, right? So we really tried to keep, like, when she's walking out on the stage, like, what can we see Alicia singing? All my life I had a vision, you know, maybe, and we want everyone to listen to her. So yeah, speaking with her really helped.
Yeah, honestly, I can say that you guys really took what I said and ran with it. And like, thank you for that. You guys, you really listened to the critique, you listened to the feedback, the vision, and that says a lot about each and every one of you guys as artists. So, you know, no matter what happens today, I really appreciate every single one of you guys for just listening to me as a fellow artist and trying to make my vision come to life. So thank you guys. Great job.
Good work, guys.
Thank
Good
you.
point to end
Thank you.
on. Thanks, guys. We'll see you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hi, guys.
Bye.
That was very diplomatic of all of them.
It was. And I was expecting it, but I wasn't. Like I don't know. It was a good answer for sure, but it's a very pageanty answer. It's a very roundabout. Let's make sure everyone's happy in this moment. You know, don't want to throw anyone under the bus. But I don't know if I believe them.
Okay, we'll chat more about them after. Okay, Songeteers are next. Quickly, Alicia, tell us about your time with Songeteers.
Songeteers, what a fun group. They're such a fun group of people. I loved hanging out with them. I felt like I was hanging out with my friends. Like they're such cool people. And I think, you know, Mandy did a great job of coming to the front and kind of taking the lead in the conversation. And the questions that were asked were great. They were very organized. Their team was very, very organized, and it was very refreshing. They came in and they were like, hey, so this is what we have for you. They presented to me. It was like they were pitching their song to me. I really appreciated that because I didn't feel like I had to kind of take the lead and be like, so what do you guys have for me? The one big criticism that I did give them was that what they were presenting to me was kind of flatlined. So their melody and their chorus was the same every single time, which I explained to them that maybe singing in a country where, you know, some people watching don't speak English might not be super engaging, because not only do we have to be careful of the fact that, yes, we want to tell a story, we want to tell a Canadian story for sure, but we also have to keep in mind the fact that some of the audience that's going to be there does not speak English, and how do we impact them to feel the same way that an English speaking person would feel about the song? So those are the kind of things I gave to them. So I'm really curious to see what they've done with that. Songeteers. Hi guys.
Hello.
Hey.
How do we do with the time?
Good.
I think good.
Pretty good.
Yeah?
I think not bad.
Okay, bye,
Okay.
Johnny.
Listen, I am super happy to hear what you guys have come up with. And I know we made the joke earlier if your song would bring us 2 tears. So looking forward to seeing if it brings a tear to my eye in a beautiful way. How do we feel about the constructive criticism, and what did you guys do with it?
We took it on, and I think we created something that you could potentially really rock it with. Yeah, walk across the stage, have your moment in the spotlight, and just dominate.
Thank you. I love that.
We wrote it for you, girl.
Can't wait
you.
to hear how you thought of it after you sing it in Turkey.
Yeah, we
go, Johnny.
We took what you said and we went back and I think we used about an hour to just kind of rework what we had, just to tailor it more to what you had suggested. So yeah.
Awesome.
Sam, how was it being group leader?
It was good. I felt like this challenge really caught all of us off guard. It was so weird and super challenging to think about writing a song about Canada, or just like, yeah. So I think we did a good job with what we had, and like, yeah, I think it was really challenging, but definitely interesting to work with this. Yeah.
Okay, let's hear it.
Wandering the mountains, coast to coast, there's beauty all around me. It's a northern glow from big city lights, small town bars. We come from all around. Know who we are. Walking down the road, I've been everywhere. No one else compares. No one else compares. I know where I belong. I'm northern strong. So proud to be Canadian. Come with me. The dreams become reality. Strong and proud community. Wild and free. Hearts full of honesty. Living off the modesty. And sorry to say, I'm proud to be Canadian. Miles in between, but Friday did the seams. Connected by kindness, love and liberty. Kaleidoscope of colors paints a picture of who we are. We belong to one another, we're the same near or far. Walking down the road, I've been everywhere. No one else compares. No one else compares. I know where I belong. I'm northern strong. So proud to be Canadian. Come with me. Where dreams become reality. Strong and proud community. Wild and free. Hearts full of honesty. Living off the modesty. Not sorry to say, I'm proud to be Canadian. Come with me. Where dreams become reality. Strong, proud community. Wild and free. Hearts full of honesty. Little northern modesty. Come with me, yeah. Where dreams become reality. Strong and proud community. Wild and free. Hearts full of honesty. Little northern modesty. Not sorry to say. Oh, not sorry to say. Ooh, I'm not sorry to say. I'm proud to be Canadian.
You guys,
Wow.
amazing job. You guys, I mean, those vocals.
Who's sung? Who,
Natasha, that's you.
who we
Oh,
pointing
sorry,
at?
sorry,
Oh,
Natasha. Yeah.
Natasha? Yeah.
Natasha.
I want to ask
Good
you guys.
work. That was powerful. Sorry, CJ.
That's okay. Sorry. I want to ask you guys a question. One that has come up with other groups, because the six of you make this seem so seamless. And how you make it seem that way.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that you have a 6-hour time frame to write a song based on a brief that you're given at 9:30 in the morning, that you then have to deliver by 3:30 in the afternoon. Other groups seem to be struggling with A, the time, and B, the number of people that are in the group. That's not to say that you guys aren't struggling with something, but you make it seem like you're not. And also, you don't bitch about it.
I don't think we are. That's probably why, because we
Levi,
all
talk to me about that.
Yeah, man. I mean, truthfully, the six people didn't even clear me at all. We just had more ideas pumping through, if anything. And as much as this was different, the only reason that we were able to pull it off is because there were six of us, and it was a challenge. But we didn't stray away. We sat down. We said, "What do we need to do to get this done?" And I hopped out, took care of my little one's dinner, came back, and kept working.
Aw.
We did what we need to do so that we can make sure that we got it done for you. And that's just what is necessary, I think, and that's why we were able as a group to do it. A good group of people, man. This is fantastic.
I think to go off of what CJ said too, it's something that you guys did so flawlessly, I'll say, is, it sounded like one person wrote this song. It's no one would have a darn clue that there was 6 incredible artists behind this piece. And that's something that's really difficult to achieve, because I think, if you think about it, every single one of you guys has very different artistry, and to bring that together in a seamless collaboration that is one entity of music is actually quite difficult to do. And you guys did that extremely well. So congratulations on that, you guys. Can I ask, because I'm also a competitor.
We gotta go.
We gotta go. I'm really curious. Okay.
We gotta go.
Whatever. Bye.
Okay, whatever. Bye.
Wait, I want to cheers you guys with my bottle of maple syrup that I'm drinking. It's not actually maple syrup, it's water.
Prop
but,
comic. Whoa.
Cheers, Kate. To Canada.
All right. See you guys. Thanks.
Take care, you guys. Great job.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you in a bit.
How can they be beaten, really?
Tell us about your time with PSLJ.
PSLJ was a fun crew. They, I think from the get-go, had a really clear vision that they were all in unity about, which I think gave them a really good head start. Having that piece where all the artists were sitting there listening, really truly wanting to hear, no egos involved, of what may work better for me as an artist and for me as a competitor and where I'm going, was really impressive. I think when you're sitting there with a group of artists who are really good in their field, and you're listening to people coming in and being like, well, guys, I don't know if I really like that lyric. And they're like, great, let's change it. What do you think it should be? I think that's the best way to grow in the industry, and the best way to learn is to be open to that kind of feedback. And they were absolutely great to work with in that way. They had a great song. So I'm really curious to see where they have grown from where we were and where I left them.
That is a great segue. If they're here, let's bring them in.
Team, please stop looking jealous. I have to keep looking down at my sheet because it's so darn long. How do we do, you guys? I'm happy to be back with you and hear how everything went.
Yeah, it was such a fun day. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I really
Looks like
got
you had a
that
good
vibe.
time.
I got that vibe from you guys this morning. You guys, like right off the get-go, sounded like you were having the most fun in the land writing this. And that made me so happy to just be a part of it and hear like your passion. I think you guys had a really great way of also having fun with the task and with the challenge. And that's sometimes hard to do. So I commend you guys for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shelby, tell us about the process.
I think from the very get-go, we all agreed we didn't want to do something cheesy, but we also really wanted to do something that suited Alicia's voice and her style. And we didn't want to be too on the nose with the lyrics either. Like, we didn't want to just sing about like hockey and, the cold. We wanted to more sing about the feeling of being Canadian and why we love it here. So I think what really helped our process is that we were all kind of on the same page about that. So we didn't have to do a whole bunch of like a ton of back and forth and trying to figure everything out with each individual person. We all kind of were on the same trajectory.
James, what's it like writing with 5 people?
It was a lot of fun. It's a bit challenging at points, right? Because I'm used to writing one-on-one with somebody, right? Because sometimes I know with me, once the ideas start flowing, it's kind of like it's hard to stick to one, and like kind of like respect the other people's ideas too, because everybody we go like one idea could change the entire direction of the song. I think because there was predominantly like the female singers in our group, that it kind of changed like the key, I guess you could say, that like a key that I'm not really usually messing around with when in my songs. But I think I was really surprised at how many good ideas we came out of our session. And I was really proud of the project that we came up with.
With what you said, it almost sounds like you took a back seat today.
Yeah, I would say so. It was it seems like sometimes with me, like if I don't have a direction, I don't like to jump in front of somebody else's creativity. You know what I mean? Like sometimes if I don't feel like I have a good voice in a certain section of something, I don't want to disrupt that creative process either. I want to add to it, but I want to do it in an appropriate way, not just like, oh, I need to add something in, so I'll just say something at this point. You know what I mean? If I don't have anything good to say, I won't say anything.
Even if it means that you risk being eliminated for it.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, let's hear the song.
It's a big world out there, skies I've never seen, nothing can compare to the place that's strong and free. When I go on the road, I'm never very far, 'cause home is in my heart.
There's nothing like where I come from, where there's always room to roam. From the mountains to the oceans, there's a place for everyone. There's nothing like where I come from, my home and native land. This is who I am. I am Canadian. I am Canadian.
Quand tu vois la feuille d'érable, c'est un signe de respect. Tout le monde est en accord. When I go on the road, I'm never very far, 'cause home is in my heart.
There's nothing like where I come from, where there's always room to roam. From the mountains to the oceans, there's a place for everyone. There's nothing like where I come from, my home and native land. This is who I am. I am Canadian. I am Canadian.
Sometimes I think about what it means, what I grew up to believe, like be kind and love your neighbor. This is who I'm raised to be. And there's nothing like where I come from, where there's always room to roam. From the mountains to the oceans, there's a place for everyone. Nothing like where I come from, where there's always room to roam.
Interesting. Okay. Some vocal stuff aside, because I'm not really interested in talking about that. There's some vocal issues in there for sure. There's some pitchy points in the actual recording, but we're not going to talk about that. Doesn't matter. Song itself, I feel, is really well constructed, and I think it matches the criteria that you were given today, which was to write a song about being proud to be Canadian.
CJ's gonna cry. He's so emotional about that. Just get you.
Yeah, it's a nice song. It's a very nice song. Also, it would fit really, really well lyrically, message-wise, with any kind of campaign that the Canadian government would want to do
Oh, nice.
to raise the morale of all of us here in Canada. I'm going to jump over to Eric, Mr. Canada himself.
Oh, stop. Yeah, guys. I liked it. You know what? And you know what I think the most important part of this is? I could picture Alicia singing it. And that's the challenge, right? I could picture the pageant and she's in Istanbul and she goes and she has some tabbouleh and she goes on stage and the spotlights are I didn't know what turkey things. And then she goes for lunch and then it's her time and then I could see it. I could see it all. I pictured turkey, hungry.
I do love turkey.
Hummus, my chas are on. Okay, here we go. We're going to round this out, I promise. I could picture Alicia experiencing what it's like to sing this song and present to whomever is in the audience that she is proud to be Canadian. I think that's your biggest win. The song for me, it was a little like, not hokey is not the word because it wasn't hokey. It was a little like it had that government feel, which I think CJ said as a positive. I'm a little more streets myself. I personally need a little bit more edge, but I could see Alicia. And it's a corporate Canadian pageant song, which I think is exactly what you were supposed to write. So I think you did a good job of that. That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kate.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I definitely agree with picturing it like on a government ad. The melody's really nice, especially in the verse. I really like the verses a lot. Chorus, to me, I was kind of, debating. I'm like, kind of part of me would prefer not to say I am Canadian, like say it without saying it. But then again, if you were to brief someone, they might want you to say exactly that, so it really depends on the person. I think personally it would be cool to somehow find a way to say it without outright being like, I am Canadian. But yeah, like as a whole, I think it was a really nice song. And I think you guys did a great job.
Thanks, guys.
Good work, guys.
Thank you
We'll
guys
see you.
Good job.
Thank
See you shortly.
Hi.
Welcome
Nice
back.
little interlude there.
Thank you. Yeah, musical interlude.
So I had to listen to them again because this is going to be a really difficult decision. What I want to say is that I think Group 2 wrote a better song, and Group 3 wrote a better song for me. So it's like what Eric said. I can picture myself singing song 3, but lyrically, melodically, Group 2's Songeteer song is better. So how do you compare a song that is better structured and will be more, appealing to the fans, to the people in the audience, versus a song that is more vocally appealing to me? How do you compare the two? I think it's quite difficult. I think, I don't know if there are things that we can do. I think, Group 2, there's one lyric in there that I think would need to change if choosing them, because, as much as we, as Canadians go have a beer or two, I don't think I want to represent that per se on stage in front of the world. There's a song about going to the bar or something, or a lyric about going to the bar. That one sentence makes me question. Out of the entire song, that's the one thing that I'm like, And then in terms of Group 3, Please Stop Looking Jealous, think they did a beautiful job of capturing me as a singer in their melody, just like Eric said. So I don't know, guys, what do you guys think?
CJ said it best. In group 2, they talked about how they loved having 6 people to work with. In group 1, they talked about how they didn't enjoy having 5 people to work with. And I think that's because in group 1, there's a lot of strong writers and people who really take in my branding.
You need a different word there. There's
Okay.
a lot of ego.
Okay. I was
in that
avoiding
group.
it, but you're right.
There's ego
I
in
think,
that
and I
group.
think I know where it's coming from in group 1, and I can tell you who doesn't have egos in group 1. Because I think some people are suffering because of their group members. And that's my opinion.
It is interesting that, you know, group 2 and 3 always kind of look happy to be, like, they look like they're buddies already, even though probably none of them have met in person. And it just feels like they've known each other and that they're enjoying working together. And with 1, I feel like, I agree. I feel like that camaraderie hasn't really happened yet.
Group 2 felt like a band. They felt like a group of people who work together and tour together. Group 1, if I can relate this to my world, group 1 felt like they got 5 comedians trying to come together to write one joke. That would be a disaster because comedians is ego-based, center-based life. I know, I am it, I live it. I felt like that was 5, to round this out. Group 2 felt like 5 or 6 professionals who came together to create a piece of art. But, you know, group 1 felt like 5 open micers trying to come together to create a piece. And groups 2 and 3 felt like 5 and 6, a group of a 6 and a 5 of professionals.
So they felt like bands, whereas group 1
felt
is
like
still functioning as a group of solo artists.
Individuals.
Yeah. Group 1 felt like a forced school project. Group 2s and 3 felt like a professional who came in to own.
A little bit. That's a good analogy.
I wonder if maybe it's the competition aspect that's getting to them potentially more than the other groups, because at the end of the day, this is a competition.
Yeah.
So maybe they can't get it out of their heads that at some point we're all kind of competing against each other, even though right now we're together in a group kind of thing. So, you know, it's a bit of a weird scenario. It just depends on the personalities that happen to get thrown together, I guess, that they can't get beyond that barrier of, okay, we're going to be competitors at some point in this whole thing, right?
I think it's really important as artists to make sure that you're represented in your work. And it's also up to us to have the confidence in our own abilities and ourselves to speak up when our voice is not being heard. And I think, you know, group 1, it can go both ways. Like, how do you choose between people who are incredibly confident in their abilities that may be overstepping and maybe taking control in it, not necessarily a positive way, and people who may just not have found their voice yet, or may not feel comfortable in the environment they are to speak up. But at the same time, you know, this is a competition. And at the end of the day, like, you have to speak up. You have to make sure that your voice is being heard, because you are in a shark den. You know, you're in a den, and you got to fight for it.
I need to bring this back to where we need to be. It's evident that group 1 is not our group today.
Mm-hmm.
Alicia, you need to decide between Song of Tears and PSLJ, and take a second and let you do that.
The judges have heard the songs, and guest judge Alicia Brown is about to deliver the news to the groups. Welcome back, artists. Hi.
Hey.
And please welcome back CJ, Kate, Eric, and Miss Tourism Canada 2021, Alicia Brown. Hello. Okay, your session today, all about what it means to be proud Canadians and to write a song that speaks to that Canadian pride. I'm going to start with you, Lauren. How was it for you and your group?
I think that it was a really neat day. We had a lot of, deep conversations, and since we'd already worked together yesterday, we were comfortable with, saying what was a good idea and what we should work past. And I think just being comfortable with the group and everyone that was involved allowed us to have a really good process.
Very cool. And Shelby, where are you? How do you think your group did?
I think we did great. I think we all really tried to work together towards a common goal, and we tried not to make it cheesy. And I'm so proud of my team. Yeah, it was an amazing experience today.
Sam, was your group feeling patriotic by the end of your writing session?
I think so. Yeah. I think it was definitely a really interesting challenge, and I think we all rised up to the occasion. Yeah.
Alicia, having heard all the songs and taking it all in, it really comes down to your decision. So tell us first how you came to the decision, what your criteria was, and which was your favorite song.
You know what, you guys, I was so pleased with every single one of you. You made my job very, very difficult. I'm so, and like Eric said, I'm so proud to be a part of such an incredible group of people. Like even every single one of you guys brought something really unique to the table. And ultimately, the song that I chose made me super proud. I felt something. It was, and that's not to say I didn't feel something with the other songs. That's to say that I felt Canadian listening to it. And I felt that this group really captured a great balance. And, I think, guys, this is hard for me. I hate choosing. I love everybody. I just want to squeeze you all. It's just so good. But thank you from the bottom of my heart for really truly listening to me. Every single one of you guys really truly listened to the feedback that I had and took it and constructed and made something really beautiful. So congratulations, you guys. Really, you're in a wonderful space to grow and to become amazing artists.
All right.
Which bloody
Alicia,
group is it?
which group did you select?
I want to thank you guys for your amazing pieces of art.
What a pageant queen.
It is so hard to do this, Alicia. I
Justin
know, but
Trudeau,
we need to know.
tell us your answer, please.
Hey, I'm leaving them on the hook. You know what I mean? So I chose the song and the group that brought me to tears, Group 2, Song of Tears. Congratulations, you guys. I'm going to be singing your song in Turkey. It was an incredibly difficult decision for me. I will say Group 2, you guys wrote a better song, while there's other groups that may have written songs more tailored to me, but the lyrics are ultimately what made me choose your song. Using the words kaleidoscope of people, like things like that just are beautiful. They're really beautiful metaphors for what we are as Canadian. And also, you guys were just proud. You were so proud. You had your lighters out. You guys were, selling me on this piece of artistry that you created. So I really wanted to be a part of that family of artistry. And that's ultimately why I chose you guys over the other two. So thank you.
All right, congratulations, Song of Tears. You are all safe from elimination. And of course, Alicia will be performing your song, like she said, at the international competition later this year. Alicia, we're coming straight back to you for the not so good news. Which song was your least favorite today?
This really breaks my heart. I do want to say that the reason why I'm choosing this song is because I had a harder time connecting to it. And I think when we choose music, we want to be able to both connect to it and present something to the world that can be connected to. And so for that reason, my least favorite song today was from group Evolve. I'm so sorry, you guys.
Okay, with today's least favorite song, Evolve, someone from your group will be leaving the competition. You're going to head back to your virtual writing room to wait for the judge's decision. And Alicia, I want to thank you so much for being with us today. Congratulations and good luck. All of us here in Canada are all rooting for you.
Thank you so much, guys. It was an absolute pleasure being here and hanging out with all you cool people. Go Canada. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye, guys.
Thanks, Alicia.
Bye.
You too. Bye.
Because I do have to say, I re-listened to the song, to the two versions we had, and I wish that we had submitted the other version. I think it was stronger, and this version was a bit pitchy and just didn't feel right. It felt like a little backhanded on Alicia's part. We had a plan, and she came in and sort of did that. And, you know, trying to be a team player and present a united front, so that's cool. But in the end, it didn't work, you know? So I think we should have gone with the plan that we had, and it would have been stronger. That's what I gotta say.
I am happy that you said that.
Yeah.
So, no.
I mean, I've been, you know, yeah.
No point in not saying that, so I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what happened?
Sorry, CJ?
Is that what happened?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we had kind of a plan. And Alicia went and recorded her own version, and by the time and then it was down to the wire, and it's impossible to you know, it's very difficult when you have 3 minutes left and you put the decision on you know, Lauren, who's our group leader here. You know, it's like that's a hard place to be.
Yeah, so that's ultimately my bad. We listened to both versions.
I don't think it's your bad or anybody's bad, right? That's my, you chose what you made your decision, which you got to stand behind, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's just my thoughts for the day.
Yeah.
The five of you had some sort of issue today that we need to understand. Eric?
Well, we're just gonna bring that up. The five of you came on the call and you all looked bummed. You guys all looked, here we are, here's our thing, we got it done in time. Here it is. You know, none of you seemed excited. And listen, I get you're tired, you're in a competition-based situation, you're trying to figure each other out, you're trying to manage egos, expectations, songs, places, you're trying to manage all this. But then when we went to the other groups 2 and 3, we signed on with them, they were like, hey guys, like they were all excited. I feel like you guys aren't having fun. And I think that's the difference between the groups. And I think you guys will, whoever remains in this group will be served well for a group shuffle to work with different singers and different energies. I think some groups come together and work great together. Some groups don't. And I think the issue is here, I think each of you are extremely talented. I think each of you, and it's not ego, it could be ego, maybe it's ego, but it's you each have a certain talent that you bring. And I feel like you guys were not respecting that and not, you were just smashing it all together and going, here it is under the time.
Could I speak to that a little bit, Eric?
I would love for you guys to chime in on this. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd definitely love to speak after as well.
From my perspective, that's exactly how it felt, Eric, was that by the time that we got it, that Lauren pressed the button and said, okay, it's sent, there was no time for celebration or to really, we were so encapsulated in self-critique that by the time by the time that it was pressed and it was 3:30 and gone, we took a break. I was rummaging around the kitchen and like close to tears because I was just so I felt that, like, this is a little aside, but I felt like I failed the group because my accompaniment wasn't up to snuff. I'm sure other people have different sentimentalities, but not an excuse or anything, but just as an observation, I think by the time we got everything done, the chemical imbalance that was happening was leaning towards the negative, and with no room for seeing the light which we all have within us and that we are trying to bring to the show. By the time that we got to that stage, we were all just like, okay, well, it's over. And that's not an excuse, but that's how it felt in the moment.
I've been there. I've been there with a lot of collaborative effort things.
All right, Tamar, you wanted to speak?
Sure. I just want to be as open and as honest as possible, because for me, the whole point of this is to do that and to get some real feedback on my life and career, and not necessarily like fight and bicker with people, which we haven't done, but you know, that's not my goal, is what I'm trying to say. But my experience, sure, the first couple days were like very open and supportive. And at this particular group, it started out as such as well. And then yesterday when we were like, you know, kind of by the end of the day, when we all sent our tracks to Alicia, who was putting them all together, for whatever reason, my parts didn't get included, right? I get it, we're not producers, tight on time, whatever.
Happy to speak to that too.
I will ask you next.
For sure. Right, but that was the plan. And then I you know, it's like so intense that at the end of the day, like the product lies in the last person that's putting it together, right? It's like editing a video or something like that. Whoever's editing it makes the final decisions, and kind of holds that in their hands, right? And the process that we're doing, if it were live, it would be a very different story, but this is different. So yeah, that happened, and we said, hold on, we have a few minutes, we can add it back. So we resent the track, it didn't really get added in, and my voice wasn't heard, and that's fine. The song was fine as is, it went out. And I, you know, I'm all for the best product. And then today, you know, I stated, I was like, you know, I really want to sing. I stated at the beginning of the day, guys, I really want to sing. I really just want, that's what I love doing. I really want to sing. Plus I figured my voice like could lend something really interesting to this particular aspect, you know, as I mentioned, I sing in Turkish a lot. I go to Turkey, like my music is from there. My highest Spotify followers are from Turkey, and like that's a region of the world that I work with. So I can kind of envision like what they're receptive to in terms of music. And in talking to Alicia, the other Alicia, she was like, we were asking her about the audience and stuff, and she's like, yeah, there's also a lot of Turkish audience there and stuff. So I was like, okay, and we had a plan sort of that. And I offered as well, you know, we said we should be a female voice singing this with her in mind. And I said, you know, why doesn't each of us, of the three girls here, take a verse, and we each sing a verse, and we each sing a verse, and that's it, you know, and then we each have a role and a voice to be heard. And Pat sort of suggested that he thought it would be stronger to have like a mix, like just a working tape, because the production might take away from what we're trying to get across. And we've been struggling with that as well, like which side to do, you know? So we're like trying to aim for that, right? And then, you know, long story short, I realize I'm talking for a while and everyone has stuff to do, but, you know, so in trying to go that direction, we ended up having Matt lay down a guitar track. I don't play guitar, I do play some piano. We questioned, or Alicia questioned, whether it was strong enough to have that piano or to just use the guitar to be fast. We're like, let's do it. Guitar, send it to me, I'll record. Alicia put a couple harmonies on top, done. And while I was recording and going over, you know, and I was trying to keep like an open thing, like guys, I'll record with everybody's input and everybody's feedback, so that like every line, like everybody has input in and like is happy with. And kind of while we were doing that and going through it, Alicia just went and recorded like her own version with zero input, and it wasn't part of that process at the end. Submitted it, was like, guys, here it is, let's do it. And by then, of course, we're down to the wire, right? So I felt like a little bit of competition there. I mean, it is a competition, so that's fine. But, you know, so I was like, okay, I guess I just have to do the same thing. So I went in, recorded, cut the feedback from the group, recorded my own version, she recorded her own version, and that kind of split all the energy, right? Instead of us focusing on one product, it sort of felt like, oh, I better record this, or like my voice won't be heard again, and Alicia's gonna, and then in the end, we're like, you know, mine or yours, and Pat and Lauren were like, you know, Alicia's is stronger, let's do it. Let's do it, submit, done.
Okay, all right, I think we get it. Yeah.
So, yeah.
This is making me feel a little awkward, so we're gonna move on to see Alicia's response to this.
Sure, of course.
Okay, yeah, definitely some big miscommunications happened. I'm hearing a lot of this for the first time, but just to quickly respond to yesterday, we talked right from the beginning of the day about having, I didn't actually know you had a whole bunch of vocals tomorrow. You said you were going to do the haze, the response, the yeah, and those did make it into the song. You're right, we were a little bit crunched for time, but that's not really the point at all. We all know how much time we get, and so I was really pumped as the production came together, all of the instrumentation came in, it built it all up, and then after we had vocals in, I had Lauren's harmonies in. I talked to you guys every step of the way about what I was putting in. And Tamar, I went into your vocal and I absolutely pulled in the responses, those yeah, and yeah, that was the only thing I managed to get in there. We were right down to the minute, and
I'm really sorry
Okay.
that didn't portray better.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
I would like to answer to today too. I did not go into making that track with the expectation that that's what we're going to use. I literally was watching the time click down, watching everything get done. I had my drive open waiting for your file, and I was just like, okay, I'm going to sing it because if we don't have anything, I want to have something, so I'm going to sing it. And that's what Patrick did yesterday too. It wasn't that I went aside from the group. It wasn't that I tried to take it into my own hands. I'm the one responsible for editing this right now. I'm just gonna have something. And then when you did send your file, it had guitar in it, so I couldn't add it to the guitar track. So I was really confused by why that. I was trying to edit it right up till I said, am I doing this? Do you guys want me to keep doing this? And like, I didn't intend for my version to be the one. I wasn't singing it the whole time being like, oh, they're gonna pick mine. That wasn't it. I just was trying to have a backup exactly like we've been doing every day, that we have something to show for at 3:30, and clearly it's been misinterpreted.
All right. Well, I'm glad. First of all, I'm glad that you guys both spoke your mind. Obviously, obviously, we hopefully cleared up some of the miscommunications. Now, I'm going to say something right now, which I just came across on my phone while you were talking, and I'm kind of upset with it. Tamar just messaged Alicia offline, the other Alicia, the Alicia Miss Canada Alicia, and sent her the other version and said, hey, this is my version, just so you know. You just threw your entire group under the bus. You just told your entire group, Alicia, Patrick, Matthew, Lauren, you're saying to them, hey, we're in the bottom, and to save myself, I'm going to say, here's the other version that I sung on.
To be fair, I sent that before I knew we were going to win or not.
Either
and I
way.
sent it to CJ as well. Because
Well,
I truly
Alicia
want
responded
the
to
feedback.
it and messaged me and said, I don't like this. And I
Fair
looked at it
enough.
and said-
Fair
and
enough.
I said,
You need to get your group's approval if you're sending a group project to anybody, especially within a competition. Has to get approval. It's the same as in the real world. If you're co-writing a song, you got to get the other co-writer's permission.
I thought it was disrespectful. I think the judges feel the same way, and I think you should go home based on that alone.
I apologize if I disrespected anyone. It was not my intention.
That's all I'm going to say.
Thanks, Eric.
Okay, I want to say one thing really quickly, and this is really, really hard for me to spit out, being the true Canadian that I am, but I really struggled off the bat this morning because of your strong opinions, Tamar. I really struggled this morning trying to not offend anybody with how we were talking about the song, and there was a few times that I had to be like, wait, like this sounds really negative, like can we please focus on why we're so proud to be Canadian? And every single line I wrote today, I was really trying not to offend you and not to say something that you were going to be,
Okay, we don't need to go any further.
Mm-hmm.
Tamar, you're done in the competition for now. Thank you for being part of the show. And we're done with the conversation for today.
Wow.
Thanks, everybody. Group, you're dismissed. You can go.
Can I stay and talk to you guys on or offline?
You can stay and talk to us. Whether the other judges wish us to stay or not, it's up to them.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to be stepping away for a minute.
We were going into this competition with the assumption that if we fail to meet the criteria, if we write not the best song for the occasion, that's fine because we all did it as a group. We all made those decisions together, collaboratively, and we're gonna go down together. Like, we're gonna end up in the bottom together. We're gonna end up on top together, hopefully, a lot more.
But if you end up in the bottom, you're there together because you made those choices and decisions together. From my perspective, every single choice that we made today, and yesterday, and like every single part of this competition leading up to now, were made with no egos, with no sense of entitlement or there was no feeling that someone was not being heard completely and that wasn't being taken seriously, regardless of what happens on the cutting room floor, because that's what happens in real life. We don't always get the best track, the best vocal line, the best accompaniment. In this case, we want all the time. We have to play by the rules of the competition. But I feel, I know in the greater like scheme of life, my life will go on after this competition, and I'm going to create beautiful music and everything's going to be amazing and hunky-dory. But in this moment, I feel cheated. I feel backstabbed by someone who I really was getting to like and interact with in a professional but fun way. I'm only one person and can only speak for myself. Tamar's intentions may have been altruistic in nature, and there's room for that discussion. But my immediate feelings, and that's why I'm recording this right now, literally 10 minutes after it happened, my immediate feelings are, bro, like what? Like we're all, why is that okay? That's your decision to send something like that to a colleague now with the pretense that we've all decided that that's a good idea. Now my name is attached to a decision that I'm not completely okay with. Lauren, Patrick, Alicia, we didn't okay that. It's our song too. We all want to sing. I've sang 4 bars in this competition so far. But I'm here for my team. I'm here for my team. If we go down to the ship and I'm the worst person on that team and my vocal performance or my guitar skills or whatever, I don't contribute one lick of a lyric, send me home. Because that's the competition. But if I'm contributing and someone takes the liberty to go behind our backs, whatever the intention therein, that's not fair. It's not fair. It's ironic that it happens to be on the episode that we're supposed to be coming together and writing a song about all those platitudes that we put on ourselves as Canadians as, oh, we're kind and we're considerate, and I have nothing but the utmost respect for the rest of my competitors in this entire thing. I am so fortunate and grateful to be a part of this thing. And to now feel like I can't trust people who I'm supposed to be giving my whole self to is very nerve-wracking for someone who is already a nervous person. We will all rise above this, evolve. We will. I love you all dearly. I just needed to get that off my chest because I'm a fairly even-keeled person. Not a lot gets to me. Not a lot irks me. I feel very fortunate to be where I am with the people that I have surrounded myself with. And that hurts, man. It hurts. That sucks. So, that's that one. That's my video journal today. I really like that song that we wrote.